I'm John Sargent and welcome to Argumental, the show where the brightest brains in British comedy debate the biggest issues facing mankind. Can we justify stem cell research? Is it ever right to kill? And has Posh gone too far with her latest haircut? Here to argue such burning issues and many others like them are, for the Red Team, Captain Marcus Brigstock and his special guest, Robin Ince. And opposing them, captain of the Blue Team, Rufus Hound, and his special guest, Johnny Vegas. OK, we begin with round one, where I asked the teams to tackle a major topic that's been giving us all the heebie-jeebies. This week, it's this. Booze, fight-inducing, marriage-wrecking, liver-shrinking, alcohol. From the tramp slumped in his doorway to the millionaire slumped in his doorway, booze is the great leveller. So raise your glasses for the first of tonight's topics. There's nothing wrong with binge drinking. Up first, supporting the statement, it's the Red Team captain, Marcus Brigstock.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. There is nothing wrong with binge drinking. Of course there isn't. Binge drinking doesn't even exist. Do you know what binge drinking used to be known as? The weekend. Right, but now it has to have a label whacked on it. And of course people are binge drinking. It doesn't matter. We work in Britain. We work the longest hours of anybody in Europe. We have to binge drink. That's the only time off we have. You finish your shift, you've got 4 hours to get as many lagers in as you possibly can. The whistle goes and you've got to go back to work. Plus, a pint of lager's £3.50. You've got to have a second pint to get over the shock. The government, of course, is banging on about your 5 a day. Why not make 2 of those yeast and hops, ladies and gentlemen? And a third one, grapes. Binge drinking is not a problem. It doesn't matter. There are bigger problems. There are issues that need to be dealt with. What are we going to do about Lily Allen? I like going round, having a look at things, and I think they look nice. Then I think, oh, no, they're probably not. Something's got to be done. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, binge drinking doesn't matter, and I tell you why the media have come up with it as a thing. It's because women have started drinking. That's what's happened. For years, blokes have been able to get pissed, and all the editors of all the magazines and all the newsroom men knew that the lady would be at home, she'd be waiting, possibly doing a bit of ironing or cleaning, and when the fella came home covered in sick and piss and lipstick, she'd be ready to clean it up. And suddenly, women have found that they enjoy drinking. Good on you, sisters. So it sent the media into a panic. Oh, the ladies have started drinking. This is atrocious. They must be banned. Horrid ladies, dirty ladies with their dirty drinking. You go for it. You hold your mate's hair back while crying and watch her be sick into her skin. That's up to you. You've earned your right. That is equality, ladies. And I'm not going to stand here and let them take that away from you. Binge drinking is not a problem. Welcome to the party, sisters. Brothers, just keep on lagering it up. You'll have a great time. Vote, please, with the Red Team. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. Up next, and opposing binge drinking, please welcome Johnny Vegas.
Johnny Vegas! Come on, up now, ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Vegas! Ladies and gentlemen, a rather bombastic and passionate speech there from Marcus Brigstock, a non-binge drinker. This man will stand here tonight and champion your cause. He's never drunk with you. I have. And only you know the true pain of binge drinking. Only a binge drinker would cut the eyes out of a cereal box and think that that prevents them from STDs. Binge drinking damages lives. Binge drinking damages people. There's a collateral damage. And only through personal experience can I tell you 9 parts gin to 1 part tapas produces the same stomach acid as Ridley Scott's Alien. Vomit that will eat through concrete and damage gas mains and possibly blow up streets. I have shot thunder. He hasn't. 3 days of binge drinking can leave a person capable of only passing stools that look like Kinder eggs. That is binge drinking. I don't have his eloquence. I don't have the benefits of his education. I know I shot a biplane in an egg. Ladies and gentlemen, binge drinking is wrong. Stay at home. Keep your problem quiet. Develop homebrew. Binge drinking, never!
Another alcohol-fueled argument, but which team made the best case? It's time for our studio audience to decide. Blue cards for Johnny or red cards for Marcus. Vote now, please.
So hard to know.
Right, a clear win for the blue team. Well done, Rufus and Johnny. Technically, 4 pints constitutes a binge. In my book, that's hardly worth getting the car out for. Next up is the slideshow. One member of each team will again be debating a controversial issue. But this time, I want them to illustrate their argument with a series of random pictures that they've never seen before. Rufus, I'd like you to go first, and you must argue this. You can't beat the Great British Seaside Holiday. Here's a picture to start you off.
You cannot beat the Great British Seaside Holiday. Ladies and gentlemen, let's think about this logically. Bognor or the Maldives? Bognor every time, am I right? Why? Because we don't have to deal with foreigners. Tick. Are there going to be Germans? No, there are not. Tick. Are we going to have to change our money? No, we're not. Tick. Are we going to get sunburnt? No, we're not. Tick. The Great British Seaside Holiday is something to be enjoyed, but we don't always know what it's for, much like Stonehenge. Yes, there are the pillars of a good holiday there, the ice creams, the donkey rides, but what are the struts really for? Well, that, simply put, is where this analogy ceases to work. Being at the airport for too long is a major bummer. I think what I'm saying is everything that is great about the Great British Holiday can be shown in this picture. It is smooth, and whilst its greatest years may be behind it, it is undeniably funded by walkers. Because those coastal paths won't ramble themselves, ladies and gentlemen. So, if you want a holiday that some people may love but other people hate, that exists not in a black and white world where the money you have to spend can be spread that little bit further, then let's... Oh, piss off. You get a picture of Marmite and see how funny you can be. Then why not unscrew the opportunity for a holiday that will never jar and go to the Great British Seaside, ladies and gentlemen. You know it makes sense.
Thank you, Rufus. Next up, it's Robin Ince arguing that you can beat the Great British Seaside Holiday.
Right.
And here's your first picture.
Ladies and gentlemen, that, by the way, I believe, is a typical piece of seaside holiday fun that we put on. That is the Eastbourne open-air version of Mary Poppins, in which 15 chimney sweeps died. That is very tragic to show that, as we know, many of Britain's great cliffs are crumbling. I think I was channeling you there for a moment, my friend. That's one of the first stages of Damien Hirst's work. And also one of those things that, as we know, this is how much even sea life hate the British seaside. A shark or a whale would rather come up the Thames and ground itself and die than hang around Eastbourne winter gardens. That is really going to win you over, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. You thought Marmite was tough? Try having Stevie Smith as your reference point. The author of Not Waving But Drowning, ladies and gentlemen. Again, a choice often taken by people on British seaside holidays. That is Morecambe. If you wish to have diarrhea, go to a bed and breakfast where 2 eggs is seen as too much, going, I'm afraid we can't really do breakfast after 6 a.m. That can be quite tricky for us. Where the muesli is merely a selection of skin scratchings from an aged aunt placed next to one sultana, then the British seaside holiday is for you. Stevie Smith versus Marmite. I mean, man, did you see what happened when I said to them, Stevie Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About what's happening now.
Exactly.
They all thought it was Sylvia Plath, and so did we. You should have gone with that.
You can't beat the British seaside holiday. You cannot beat it. There is nothing better, really.
No, do you know why you're having so much difficulty thinking of it? Because fundamentally, the only thing that gives our life value is interactions with other human beings. So what we try and do is go further afield to have new experiences, which we can then kid ourselves was better than actually having friends. Whereas, if you go to Cornwall with 10 blokes that you absolutely love, that will be the best holiday you ever had. Now, the reason that you can't understand this is because fundamentally you are loveless. You've never been held. Your dad packed you off to boarding school when you were 6 months old. And you're next to Robin Ince, Britain's #1 curmudgeon.
The point is, Hound, you know, you can say all of that stuff. Never touch me. Never touch me. I was touched once before and it went so badly. Oh, Lord, Johnny.
Force a tear.
A what?
A tear.
You can't. You're just making things up. He comes up with
Force a tear.
something.
Cry!
I don't know what you mean. What is a tear?
The man has no emotion! He wouldn't let me touch him! If I could stroke his cheek...
Oh, that's the tear whisperer. I stroke the cheeks.
Yes.
The tears come forward.
Watch this. Watch this.
Oh.
Look at that!
That's amazing.
It's all very impressive and very manipulative. Let me just pick you up on one thing, Rufus. You claimed, Hound, that if you go to Bognor Regis, you don't have to exchange your money. You do. They are simple folk down there. They will not accept the coins that we use. They trade in dung and hugs, like you.
OK, thank you, teams. Time to find out who the studio audience thought made the best argument. It's the blue card for Rufus and the red one for Robin.
Close. Stevie Smith, much more popular than we imagined.
OK, that's a win for the Reds. Bad luck, Rufus, but well done to Robin Ince.
Even Anton
Okay.
Deck would have called that for the Blues.
I know.
I noticed the main camera wasn't sweeping the room then.
No, just
no,
picking
it's
out
just-
individual Reds.
Join us after the break when we'll be finding out if Boris Johnson is really as daft as he looks. See you in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to Argumental, the show with more conflict than a trip to IKEA with your heavily pregnant wife on FA Cup Day. Now it's time for our celebrity round, and the subject of tonight's debate is this political giant. It's Boris Johnson, the hairbrush-shunning, tie-dodging, bumbling buffoon and, bizarrely, Mayor of London. He's the scourge of Scousers and would-be banisher of the bendy bus, whose popularity has risen faster than the rate of inflation. But the statement I want you to argue is this: Boris Johnson is not as daft as he looks. Up first and supporting Boris, it's Robin Ince.
The question is, could Boris Johnson be as daft as he looks? It's a brilliant device, a brilliant political device, as we saw in that little clip of him stumbling. It's the perfect thing. He's just like one of us. Well, not even like one of us. He's a funny fool. So it's been, oh, do you see Boris Johnson? He tripped. Oh, it's hilarious. Well, you don't have to go and close all those schools. Oh, it doesn't matter. We didn't hear that bit. He was being hilarious. This is indeed one of the problems that we have. Enoch Powell would have not spent the last period of his political life in the wilderness had he had slightly messy hair when he was doing the Rivers of Blood speech. There will be rivers of blood. Woo! Oh, funny old Enoch Powell and his amusing slapstick racism. Now, I think this is the danger of Boris Johnson, because he's not actually as daft as he looks. Indeed, this is why the foolish London public thought it would be funny to vote Boris Johnson in. Wouldn't it be hilarious to have Boris Johnson? He'll probably do loads of daft stuff, I imagine. He'll probably get rid of the tube and just have us all riding camels or something. Or, he'll get, like Big Ben, it won't chime, it'll have the Yellow Rose of Texel play. It'll be brilliant. Oh, he's banned all drinking on the tube. But that's the only reason we voted for him, because we were pissed at 8 a.m. in the morning and we thought it would be brilliant. So my argument is, it is the public of London, except you, who are the daft people. Boris Johnson, on the other hand, is far, far from daft. He is a clever, conniving politician. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, opposing Robin Ince and Boris Johnson, it's Rufus Hound.
Boris Johnson is as daft as he looks. Look at him. Boris Johnson couldn't be any more daft. He had tiny fireworks shooting out of his eyes, spelling the word daft. Now, don't confuse daftness with stupidity. See, it takes a clever man to run for the Mayor of London, but it's a daft man not to realise there's a bloody good chance you'll actually win it. And thus be forced to do a job to which you are clinically unsuited. Purporting that Hackney's crying out for a new velodrome and dressage facility, as the last mayor did, is stupid. But telling the hosts of the world's greatest Olympic tournament in Beijing that ping-pong's coming home... that's pretty daft. Right, look, the bottom end is this. He is just a bloke. And as like most of the blokes in this room, we're just trying to do the best with what we've got. Now, admittedly, he's had more breaks than most. But all he did was run as the Mayor of London. We elected him. As Robin says, we are the daft ones. He's not stupid, he's daft. We're stupid. So what I'm saying is this.
Can I just say, it's really nice just to agree with you on this point, but it does slightly make this a flawed argument.
Well...
Can I
thank you,
not your argument, all of our arguments. It turns out the whole show's a farce. He's teetotal.
18 years.
Yeah. Johnny's actually from Woking.
My last holiday was in Whitby. It's all been lies. Oh, man.
And I am Sylvia Plath.
On you go, Rufus. Don't worry about us.
Well, hang on. I'm doing my best here, John. I had the rhetoric all flowing. He jumps up. I'm doing my best, and you're sat there going, "Chop, chop, old son. I've got a fucking dance class at 8 o'clock in the morning." I'm only doing my best, John.
OK, Rufus.
Do you want some tears?
I'm all right. The point is, fundamentally, ladies and gentlemen, we voted for Boris Johnson because we thought it might be a bit of a laugh, and that makes us a bit stupid because maybe we didn't think through or really have too many other alternatives. So my point is this. Vote blue this time round. Tell me that Boris Johnson is as daft as he looks. You voted blue in the London elections, so vote blue now. Ladies and gentlemen, you know it makes no sense at all.
Boris Johnson is not as daft as he looks. Nobody is as daft as Boris Johnson looks. Nobody.
Well, all right, but let's just say we were looking for someone who was as daft as Boris Johnson looks. If you drop a list, top of that list would be Boris Johnson. Thus meaning that the only person who could be as daft as Boris Johnson looks is Boris Johnson. So,
Boris Johnson may aspire to be as daft as he looks, but he has not pulled it off, Hound. He's daft, certainly, but he's not as daft as he looks. He looks incredibly daft. That's as daft as I've ever seen a person look, and Johnson, as daft as he is not that daft.
look at that hair. That is not cut or styled. That is what we call a brush. Now then, name me anything dafter than a brush. There is nothing dafter than a brush, hence the phrase, daft as a brush.
Absolutely. And I will grant you, Rufus Hound, Boris Johnson is as daft as a brush, but he's not as daft as he looks.
I also want to know why is that phrase daft as a brush? How daft are brushes? They're merely a sweeping device.
Because if you were going to shift anything, you'd do it with your feet. A brush does it with his head. That's why it's a daft. Boris Johnson is as daft as he looks, and he's also a victim. At the age of 8...
of what?
At the age of 8, he fell seriously ill, and the only people that could help him was Hensons, the puppet makers. And the only way Jim Henson's knows how to work is to make someone look daft. Or clever like Yoda. But it's not Star Wars, it's politics.
I suppose, on this analogy, you could argue that he is our Darth Vader.
So, once again, I turn to our studio audience for their verdict. Who made the best argument? It's red for Marcus and Robin and blue for Rufus and Johnny. Hold up your cards now, please.
Well, based on the last count for the last round, that's a blue victory.
It's a blue landslide.
So, a victory for the Reds. Well done to Robin Ince. Alexander Boris de Faithful Johnson was educated at Eton, read classics at Oxford, became Conservative MP for Henley-on-Thames, and now Mayor of London. Proof that no matter what your background, you can always fight your way out of the ghetto. Time now for the final quickfire round and a last chance for our teams to go argumental. This is the deciding round. I'm going to show them a series of pictures. All they have to do is suggest an argument to go with them. OK, here's your first picture.
Is it an argument for McDonald's re-supersising the fillet of fish?
I think that's an argument for not getting married in Las Vegas, isn't it?
How dare you, Brickstock? How dare you?
I forgot you got married in Vegas.
You didn't forget. That was an under-the-table jab.
And the fact his wife is a giant fish as well. It was all there, wasn't it?
You bastards.
That bloke does look somewhat like you as well.
You haven't had to change your water.
Is it an argument against not using fish as kites?
OK, the next picture.
This is an argument for the reintroduction of whaling.
I think that's an argument against calming down, dear, because it's when they're calm that he sneaks up and offends them with his body.
Quite simply, it's an argument against Michael Winner.
Is it an argument against being a professional sunscreen rubber-innerer?
I think it's an argument against seaside holidays in Britain.
Next picture.
Wow.
This is an argument against learner freight drivers.
I think this is an argument for insuring your donkeys. Definitely an argument against seaside holidays in Britain.
Is it an argument for the fact that, actually, when all's said and done, most people will still snigger at the word frigate?
Is it an argument for the fact that most captains have small penises and overcompensate?
Next picture.
This is an argument against shopping at www.nelsonmandelashirts.com.
I think that is an argument for the Hitler tash, isn't it? I mean, Mugabe obviously just thought, I think people don't think I'm evil enough. I need a little something just to take it further. I want something so that when they look at me, they think, my God, that is a bad man. And that task is really done. I mean, fair play to him.
John, I'm pretty sure it's the argument that when you are a brutal dictator, nobody tells you you're dressed like a tit.
Next picture.
It's an argument for never going to Tracy Emin's house for tea.
This is an argument for not visiting your nan.
I think that's an argument that through the keyhole may have reached the end of it. If you could guess whose house it is.
Buzz Doherty.
OK, that's it. So for the final time, it's down to our studio audience to decide who made the best case. Red for Marcus and Robin, and blue for Rufus and Johnny. Vote now.
If there's any justice in the world... This really blows chunks, ladies and gentlemen. We were absolutely robbed in an earlier round.
No,
I shot a Kinder Egg. Now's your chance to change your mind. Come on.
So, I can tell you that the red team have won the round, which means this week's winners are the red team. Well done, Marcus Brigstock and Robin Ince. Commiserations to Rufus Hound and Johnny Vegas. That's all they've got time for tonight. That's all we've got time for. Good night.
You know, I've always thought having a big old disagreement can be fun. And for even more argumental fun, visit our website, joindave.co.uk. Next tonight, though, we're mocking the week with, you know, Mock the Week, innit?